Good morning. Good morning. My name is Sarah Summers Hoskin, and I serve as your worship associate this morning. I'm so glad to be here this morning with you. We are really happy to see the faces of old and new friends gathered here today. The Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Clemson is not merely a tolerant community, but truly a welcoming congregation. We receive here gladly, regardless of your racial or ethnic background, age, economic status, political affiliation, gender expression, or sexual orientation. Our diversity is what unites us and makes us wiser and stronger. If you would like more information about UUFC, I encourage you to check out our website or speak with the welcome table volunteers that are right outside the door here following the service. There are many spiritual paths in this world. You will find more than one within this congregation, and you will not be judged for your beliefs. In fact, here your choices are respected and allowed to flourish. I hope that today's service will fill a place inside of you that feels hungry for something deeper. Please accept our invitation to return. Every Sunday is quite different. I'd like to just say a few things about announcements. If you notice on the back of your bulletin, the white bulletin that you got, that you do have a total outline here of announcements, but the big, there's just a few that I'd just like to emphasize. Of course, December 4th, that's today, and December 4th is our deadline for our stewardship pledge drive. So if you haven't been able to find that pledge form and turn it in, please do so as soon as you can. We really appreciate it. We've met 78% of our goal, which is great, but we only have like 43% participation. So it's okay. So if you could do that, that would be appreciated. We will be getting sending out little postcards this week to help remind you. I know you're busy, and November is just it's just flown by, so we get that. Okay, so it's time to turn them in though. We do have a congregational meeting December 11th, next Sunday. This is immediately after our worship service. Those of you that are this might be new to you, so you basically just stay and I understand there's not too many things on the agenda, so that's good because there is a cookie exchange following that. So that's the fun part, which leads me to the cookie exchange, okay, which leads me to another important announcement that John Hoskin is going to be doing a talk immediately following the service today on the sugar and your diet. So, yes, so, which is all, okay. So anyway, it's all temperance, right? All right. All right, I would just like you to take just a minute and stand up and greet one another now. And is our hymn time. If you would remain standing, we are going to sing a hymn. We're going to do it in a round. And Elaine's going to tell us how we're going to be doing this round, okay? It's going to be a round.
Okay, in the gray hymnal, please turn to page 188. Come, come, whoever you are. This is a round. We want to first sing it through all together in unison, and then we're going to stop, and then we're going to do it as a round. When we do it as a round, this side's going to start. Susan is your leader. And then we are, this half, going to come in second. You come in where it says circle number 2. When they're singing the word wanderer, we're going to sing the word come. Sing with me. No, just 2 parts. We're together. I need help. Okay, let's do it once, unison, please.
Y'all did good on that. All right. It's so good to be together this morning. When winter's darkness spreads across the land and cold seeps through our thickest coats, we hurry here, drawn by the warmth of faces familiar and new to the welcoming walls of this house. Here, for this hour, we open ourselves to new understanding, reassurance, and hope. For this is a place where truth, love, and challenge meet. Welcome. It's good to be together.
Good morning, good morning. My name is Christina Branum-Martin, and I'm the interim minister here, and I didn't give you a chance to say good morning to me. I'm so sorry. So, thank you. As the interim minister, I see all that is happening with the search committee and the excitement and hope for the new year. And I hope that Advent, that season of waiting in the Christian tradition, adds to the excitement and hope for what is to come here to this coming year. If you would join with me in a moment, we're going to light the chalice first and then share our words of affirmation. Aurelia, would you come help me? Aurelia has never lit in the chalice before, but she practiced with me today, and she's already a pro. Thank you, Aurelia. One of the things that is so wonderful about having children back after such a hard time with families and the pandemic is that we can start having children light the chalice again. And so next week, we already have somebody lined up who's back there who reminded me today that it's her turn next week. Would you share in the words in your order of service the words of affirmation with me? We gather together in the spirit of love, with justice as our guide. This is our chosen covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, and to care for one another. And Karen has the next story about Advent today for us.
Okay, can I ask the kids to come down here and join me, please? If you want to, or anybody who's young at heart and wants to come and decorate the tree with me? No? 'Cause this, come on. Now, last week we talked about our first Advent tree, and we said that Advent was that we were waiting for something. You remember what we're waiting for? Comes at the end of December? Christmas, that's right, Christmas. And today we're going to light our second tree, which means we are halfway there. So we're almost there. Last week we did our theme of hope, and we put our ornaments on the tree that represented hope. This week's theme is faith. So I have ornaments for the tree this week that represent our faith tradition of Unitarian Universalism. So, who can tell me what this is?
It looks like some sort of candle.
Yeah, some sort of candle. Maya, I heard you say it over there. Chalice, right, it's our chalice. And the chalice that we light every morning, every Sunday morning, is the symbol of our faith tradition. It's a symbol of Unitarian Universalism. So we have on our tree this week some little chalices. And what's this?
A rainbow.
A rainbow. Why?
Obvious.
Yes, it's obvious. Why do you think I would use a rainbow to symbolize Unitarian Universalism, Aurelia?
Since it offers peace and quality.
That's true. Peace, quality. Sorry? Yes, Maya.
LGBTQ and the 5 principles, or 6 principles.
Close. 7. Keep trying.
I don't know.
Maya's exactly
I don't
right.
pay attention to anything.
Maya's exactly right. Our rainbow is a symbol of us as a welcoming congregation for our LGBTQ friends, that this is a safe and welcoming environment for them. It is also one of the ways that we talk about our principles with our kids in classes. Now, you guys have seen this hanging in your classroom. We talk about our rainbow principles because a rainbow has 7 colors, and we have 7 principles. And this is one of the kids' versions that we use for those principles. That's right, there's 7. And then my last ornament, what's this?
An apple.
An apple? Are you sure?
Oh, the earth.
It's the earth, right? And which of these 7 principles talks about the earth?
This one.
That's right, the 7th principle, right?
And the 7th and 6th.
The 7th and 6th, yeah.
Peaceful world and care for the earth.
Exactly, a peaceful world and care for the earth. Our 7th principle in particular talks about the the interconnectedness of all living things and how we have a responsibility to help take care of our earth. So, I'm going to ask you guys to take some of these ornaments and help finish decorating the tree up there. You can just take that basket up there with all of you. Just take the whole basket.
I'm just gonna take like one of each and maybe 2 chalices.
And while you guys do that,
Wait.
somebody press that button down there and turn the tree on?
This one?
Yeah. Oh, that was the wrong tree. That's okay.
The one over here? This has different settings.
Don't knock the tree over. There we go. There we go. Okay. I have some words to go with our tree lighting this morning.
Rainbow lights, 'cause
Okay, guys.
this is just rainbow.
This is the season of anticipation, of expecting, of hoping, of wanting. This is the time of expecting the arrival of something or someone. We are waiting. This is the time of living in darkness, in the hues of unknowing, of being quiet, of reflecting on a year almost past, waiting for a new beginning, for a closing or an end. This is the time for digesting the lessons of days gone past, anticipating the future for which we are waiting.
Oh, we did. Carol, would you grab the wagon for us? Thank you so much. I'll read the words. This is the time in which we gather together to collect our gifts for UUFC and for the wider community. And in just a moment when the wagon comes, you can help collect the food, okay? So let me finish my words first. The purpose of this church is to encourage all who gather here to be more generous in spirit and in action. This is the great end of all the world's faith traditions, to bring the human being closer to the divine acts by acts of creation and compassion. And we now take an offering that allows this exercise, that all-important generosity of spirit, an offering that will support this self-supporting church and its many programs. The gifts of this congregation will now be received.
I see so many bees.
These gifts are welcomed with gratitude and joy for the season. We have quite a few joys and concerns cards, and I'll start with one. This week on December 1st was the world recognition of AIDS Day, and I myself grew up in the era of AIDS being very prevalent in the 80s and 90s. And I lost a few friends to AIDS, and it is something that every year that comes around reminds me of that there's still a long way to go for vaccines. And this is still something that ravages many parts of the world and not so much here. And Aurelia, you have something to share too?
On December 14th,
On December 14th, it's
it's my birthday.
Aurelia's birthday. Can we put a stone in for those two things? That would be great. And maybe on that day, we could put a card. You could write out a card and say, it's my birthday. That would be great. I want to acknowledge that Gordon Crane had knee replacement surgery, which seems to be a theme around here. It's hard going. Recovery takes a while, and we are keeping him in our thoughts. And Heidi's knee surgery is coming up, and we're keeping you in our thoughts. Ellen Few has a joy that she had a safe trip to and from Harbor Island this past week and is so glad to be back at UUFC. Holly Ulbrich has a joy that my granddaughter Caroline married her high school sweetheart in Augusta, November 19th. They met in kindergarten. Wow. Janie Shipley and her husband celebrate the life of our friend Christy Harwell, who passed away unexpectedly on Monday. Her father, the late Lynn Harwell, was a member of UUFC and served as the chair of the grounds committee. Thank you for letting us know. So sorry. Cindy Lee has a joy of hosting my first Thanksgiving since 2019. Many friends and family attended, and it felt wonderful. And the last, Elizabeth Branstad wrote, she's not here today. She's dealing with some information that she's been gathering from doctors about the skin condition that she's been dealing with for a while. And it turns out that some of it is cancerous, and she'll have to be getting some treatment. And we will keep in touch as we move forward with further information on what she needs to support her. The last stone for those here are for visitors who have come, friends who have crossed over the threshold. We are glad to see you, and we look forward to getting to know you better. And for all the things that have not been spoken yet, we will close today honoring that there'll be a time, and we are here for you when you're ready. And now we can sing The Children on Their Way to the Classroom. I don't know about you, but it is a joyous sound to hear the children in this building. It is so nice to have, as my grandmother would say, the pitter-patter of small feet and the sounds of laughter, and I am so happy for that. I'm going to share a poem with you today for our prayer and meditation. Maya Angelou, certainly a prolific writer and civil rights activist and poet, wrote so many beautiful poems. And there's one she wrote for the Christmas season called Amazing Peace. She wrote it in 2005. Often at the holiday season, they'll invite a poet to the White House to write something for the year and say that poem as they light the Christmas trees. And this is what she wrote then. Thunder rumbles in the mountain passes, and lightning rattles the eaves of our houses. Flood waters await us in our avenues. This was right after Katrina that she wrote this. Snow falls upon snow and falls upon snow to avalanche over unprotected villages, and the sky slips low and gray and threatening. And we question ourselves. What have we done to so affront nature? We worry, God. Are you there? Are you there really? Does the covenant you made with us still hold? And into this climate of fear and apprehension, Christmas season enters and arrives. Streaming lights of joy, ringing bells of hope, the singing carols of forgiveness high up into the bright air. And the world is encouraged to come away from rancor and come the invitation to friendship. It is the glad season. Thunder ebbs to silence and lightning steeps slightly in the corner. Floodwaters recede into memory and snow becomes a yielding cushion to all, and we make our way to higher ground in our hearts. Hope is born again in the faces of children. It rides on the shoulders of our aged as they walk into their sunsets, and hope spreads across the earth, brightening all things. Even hate crouches, breeding in dark corners, walks away. And in our joy, we think we hear a whisper. At first it is soft, then only half heard, and we listen carefully as it gathers strength. We hear a sweetness. The word is peace. It is loud now. It is louder than the explosions of bombs. And we tremble at the sound. We are thrilled by its presence. It is what we have hungered for. Peace. Not just the absence of war, but true peace, a harmony of spirit, a comfort of courtesies, security for our beloveds and for their beloveds too. We clap hands and we welcome the peace of Christmas, and we beckon this good season to wait a while with us. We, Baptist and Buddhist, Methodist and Muslim, say, come. Come, peace. Come and fill us and our world with your majesty. We, the Jew and the Jainist, the Catholic and the Confucian, we implore you to stay a while with us so that we may learn from your shimmering light how to look beyond complexity and see community. It is Christmas time, the halting of hate time. And on this platform of peace, we can create a language to translate ourselves to each other. And at this holy instant, we celebrate the birth of Jesus into the great religions of the world. We jubilate the precious advent of trust. We shout the glorious tongues at the coming of hope, and all the tribes loosen their voices to celebrate the promise of peace. We, angels and mortals, believers and non-believers, look heavenward and speak the word aloud, peace. We look at our world and we speak the word aloud again, peace. We look at each other and into ourselves, and we say without shyness or apology or hesitation, peace, my brother. Peace, my sister. Peace, my soul.
Thank you.
I think they're on.
I have traveled many moonless nights, cold and weary, with a baby inside, and I wonder what I've in a silent prayer. I am frightened by the load I bear in a world as cold as stone. Must I walk this path alone? Be with me now. Be with me now. Breath of heaven, hold me together, be forever near me. Breath of heaven, breath of heaven, lighten my darkness, pour over me your holiness, for you are holy. Breath of heaven. Do you wonder as you watch my face if a wiser one should have had my place? But I offer all I am.
Today's reading was written by Charles Stevens about the history of Christmas. He writes, Oliver Cromwell once ordered the heathen celebration of Christmas ended in England. The New England Puritans objected to the celebration as well, and in 1659 passed a law setting a fine on anyone found observing any such day at Christmas, whether by forbearing labor, feasting, or any other ways. No more. But Christmas survives all efforts to subdue it. Cromwell and the New England Puritans were right, of course, about the heathen, pre-Christian origins of Christmas, but they were wrong in trying to disavow it because of those origins. Its beginnings make it more universal, and those of us who have the touch of the heathen upon us, you know who you are, yes, can find good meanings in the season. Scrooge, after all, was converted and promised. He promised, I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all year. So can we. Whatever our theological beliefs, for Christmas is much more than theology, so much more than the Bethlehem legends. It is as ancient as the awareness of the winter solstice and as contemporary as the inner need each of us has to hope and dedicate ourselves to peace upon the earth and within the hearts of men and women everywhere. It is deeply rooted as human loving and sharing and giving, and it is as new as the birth of our children, the birth of wonder, and the birth of new ideas and new love. And so ends the reading.
I grew up Unitarian Universalist, and my memories of the season are a mix of religious and secular traditions. Christmas trees lit up with lights, Hanukkah candles being lit in the sanctuary, solstice parties, and I have a particularly wonderful memory of the Christmas pageant when I was 6 at the Emerson Unitarian Church in Houston, Texas. I was a wise man, my brother was a lamb, and my little sister was baby Jesus. In my own life, the season is full of friends and family that I am close with, and the season is full of plenty, and I am grateful that I have the opportunity for plenty to be a part of it. I do look forward to the season each year, especially after the last few years of being separate physically from those who I loved outside of my home bubble. You know, we all had those bubbles of the people we had connection with. This year, I feel like I'm kind of coming out of a shell, and I hope that you too are finding ways to reconnect physically or emotionally to those who you might have been separated from due to the pandemic. This season gives us an excuse to put aside the day-to-day tasks that fill our lives. And we are called, we are invited to look beyond ourselves to others. We gather with loved ones. We send cards to people for our way. Who still sends cards? I still send cards. And I love to get them. They're always such a surprise to find in the mailbox. I still buy gifts for the children in our family, and I do have a practice with my children of sharing with those who are less fortunate. We all remember stories of Christmas and Hanukkah and the solstice at our house, and they blend into a celebration, a birth of new hope, the triumph of freedom, and the festival of lights. And these rituals like putting ornaments on the Advent tree, they become sacred celebrations because they imbue meaning into our lives. Simply, the season beckons peace. And I hope as a parent to pass on that reverence for all that this season can bring. But I know as an adult that this season has contradictions. As we seek simplicity, we rush around to buy gifts. When we seek to come to terms with the end of the year budget, we're asked to buy things for others. As we seek tenderness and intimacy, we often re-engage in painful relationships with family and with friends who have left us brokenhearted. With that appeal of the Dickens Christmas spirit, stores invite us in. Come in and forget all that you are dealing with. They invite us in to shop, forgetting that the true Christmas spirit has to do with family traditions, the love of humanity, and the compassion for the poor, not the marketing of consumer economies. I watched over the years as a child and as an adult, someone in my close family who every year she experienced a post-Christmas depression. And I have come to understand that that is not unusual. Our yearning for peace and happiness is so acute at this time of the year for so many that this season doesn't bring sometimes what we need the most. It is so difficult because we have been fed unrealistic expectations of this season, I think. What are realistic expectations then? A few years ago, I found a book on the church library shelf, and it's called Unplugging the Christmas Machine by Joe Robinson. And Robinson explored the history of Christmas marketing from 1880 to the present in the U.S. With each generation since the turn of the century, she wrote, and this is the last turn of the century, the cogs of the wheels of this machine have been turning. I'm going to share with you a tiny bit of that history. In the late 1800s, as depicted by Dickens in England, Christmas was how many days of Christmas? 12 days of Christmas. It was a time to truly take rest from work and gather with friends and family in the village in which you lived. And sometimes you would travel home if you could. The focus was on giving very young children gifts, while others celebrated with special meals and festivities. But the focus was on rest and being together. By the early 1900s, Christmas commercialism began, and there was a general trend towards a consumer economy and holiday advertising that began targeting gift giving for adults too. Coinciding with the end of World War I in 1919, there was a fear of the stagnant economy, followed by the boom of the war economy. And so some advertisers capitalized on the idea that this spending would help the country. We've heard that before, haven't we? So advertising at that time in 1919 went on full assault, and one ad read, "Don't give frivolous gifts, give gifts that care." And there was a list underneath of all the things that you could give an adult with the prices quite high. Well, the campaign succeeded, and department stores' inventories rose by 50 between 1919 and 1920. To give one's family an opulent Christmas was no longer just in the province of the rich. And this all seemed like progress, right? I learned recently that during the Great Depression in 1939, President Franklin D. Roosevelt declared that Thanksgiving would be the next to last Thursday of November rather than the last Thursday, because he thought this would give merchants a longer period of time to sell goods for Christmas. Increased spending would hopefully boost the U.S. economy. And for each decade to come, more money was loaned and spent during the holidays. The length of advertising increased prior to Christmas and after post-holiday clearance. And presently, on average, retail stores reap 25 to 50% of their annual sales during the month of December. In 2018, it was calculated that the U.S. market was just over $1 trillion in the holiday season. So companies with stuff to sell, bombard us with their powerful and clever media voices. They stay in business convincing us that our lives would be better if only we bought one more product, one more service, perhaps one more experience. It was in the early 90s that T. Boone Pickens, the former CEO of Allied Stores, told his stockholders, "Our job is to make people unhappy with what they have." So with all this in mind and all the things that we go through each season to hopefully find that special thing to give to someone to show our love, Joe Robinson pondered this history and wrote about this need and desire. She said, "No wonder we are swept up by this machine, because this machine has power over us. This machine has power because it speaks to the deepest and most sacred desires of our heart. The commercial messages of the holidays promise so much. It promises that our families will be together and happy, that our children will be well behaved and grateful for what they receive. It promises that our partners will be beautiful and sparkling and nurturing and kind and generous and appreciative. This machine promises that we will have enough money, enough time, enough fun, and warm and safe time to be together and to be truly loved. So yes, we stop and we listen and we want to believe in this machine. Yet these expectations are unreasonable. The problem comes when we buy into the notion that what we long for can be procured by the selling and receiving of goods. We don't unplug this machine because the commercials are pretty good at promising what we want to believe, each of us for our own reasons. So it's identifying our vulnerabilities and what we want from this season that is key to unplugging that machine. We must take time to identify our longings and be realistic about which of these longings can really be satisfied by the holidays. It is only then that we can go on to create a holiday that does give us joy and satisfaction. In the recreation of this season, we can examine the holiday activities in light of our deepest values. First, we can commit ourselves to remember those who are truly needing our gifts. We all know different ways in which we can organize and coordinate and support nonprofits, organizations in our community. Even UUFC right now has a mitten tree that's covered with hats and mittens and socks and things that I know tender hands here made. and people donated to supply the hands and the mittens and all the things, even scarves, a beautiful scarf. And I am looking at Petra because I know she made quite a bit of them. As a child, I remember that we had a family that we fostered instead of, we called it foster giving instead of foster getting. As gifts, we know that we can support families in the local community. I know that CCC has a program, the Clemson Community Care has a program here where you can adopt a family and provide things to them. Each year, I've had a child in school now for 22 years in a row. Every year, we ask the teacher what they would like for us to give to an organization, rather than giving them one more thing of pumpkin bread. And it's nice to see what they would like to be able to give to, and then my child is able to help support that. I know you have creative ways of supporting communities too. Second, we can commit to expressing our love in more direct ways than gifts. Jo Robinson in her book says we can simply spend time with those who we care about. And we, the children of the family, can get together for family game nights or things like that. Trips can be planned instead of gifts given. Third, we can commit to being a peacemaker within our circle of family and friends. And this is a high bar. Perhaps it seems like a simple gesture, but yes, it can be the foundation of what we seek in this season. And as Maya Angelou writes in her poem, Amazing Peace, it is Christmas time, the halting of hate time. And on this platform of peace, we can create a language to translate ourselves to ourselves and to each other. Peace. It is what we've hungered for, not just the absence of war, but true peace, a harmony of spirit, a comfort of courtesies, and security for our beloved and their beloveds. And last, we can commit to rededicating ourselves to our spiritual growth. The long, dark nights invite us to sit down and sit a while in the quiet. This can be the time of the year for self-reflection, to reflect about our lives, our longings, and the recognition of what feeds our souls. Come and tell a friend here what you need. Tell us what you reflect on. And if needed, let this community be a safe place to fall. Let this congregation be like an extended family and be a place for celebration and recreation in your life. For this season is made holy by the meaning we give it. May it bring you closer to what the season can offer, peace in all of its forms. Blessed be, and amen. We're going to sing in a minute, number 224, Let Christmas Come. And I don't know if you have sung it before or in a long time. So Paula's going to play it through all the way once, and then we'll join in after that.
Christmas come, its story told.
I invite you just for a moment. I'm not going to make you stand up and hold hands again. I was told that made some people feel uncomfortable. If you could just take a minute and look around. Just look at each other. Let us acknowledge the holiness of being together. Let us stop the rush of the machine and allow the spirit of the season to enter our being. May we take this time to let our vision be clear and our concern deepen, and allow our hearts to overflow with all the authentic gifts that we can offer each other in this season. The authentic gift of love and togetherness and community and hope. May peace fill our hearts like a vessel. Go forth in love, my friends. Go forth in love.